What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, YouTube family. It is me again. It's your girl. It's Lois Johnson, aka Empress Lisa. I am that self-proclaimed 35-year-old encouragement speaker who often says that I feel trapped inside the body of a 55-year-old employment recruiter. And I also say, more importantly, with each passing day, I am feeling a lot less and less trapped. And that is because I am operating in my purpose, which is giving, teaching, writing, speaking, inspiring, and encouraging. And trust me, that is not something I had hoped to do. That is just what I was told by divinity and my deity that I am to do. And now I'm bold enough to operate in obedience. So let's go ahead and add this to our 50 Shades of Great. And we're going to talk about character and integrity. And here's what I'm going to say about character and integrity. I'm going to make a lot of enemies, but it's on my heart. I've got to say it out loud. Maybe what it does is it helps somebody to consider another perspective or provoke some thought around what it really means to have strong character and integrity. I'm going to take a little bit of poke and throw some shade over at church people. And this is why I'm going to do this, because I don't understand how it is people can attend church for years and decades and still walk away with less than solid character and integrity. In my personal opinion, if we saw someone go through 12 years of public schooling and at graduation, they still were reading on a first grade level, we would think that something is wrong with them. Well, by comparison, I think the same thing about people who have attended church for years and years, and they don't seem to get the basics. And what I mean by the basics is, again, I am not somebody who has studied the Bible to any degree. I just use a lot of common sense, and then I try and practice that. Common sense is not always common practice, but I'm trying each day to make it so. So let me just say this. When I talk about having been in church for years and years and not operating as if you've learned anything or having strong character and integrity, it is my personal opinion that the whole reason we are attending church is supposedly because we're hoping to grow and to develop a relationship with our deity versus being in a religious like type of an organization for the sake of image and making man think that we're something that we're not. And so when I think about that, I think I would much rather be Christ-like versus proclaiming to be a Christian and still operating in a place where I don't seemingly know the basics and the fundamentals of what it's like to be Christ-like. And I'm not talking about perfection, because trust me when I tell you, I am one of the most imperfect and flawed individuals that I know. And I don't mind saying that out loud. That's one of the reasons why I thought, God, you cannot be talking to me when you say use my gifts and my talents to encourage other people. But then I realized, hey, what better person than me to be an inspiration and maybe encourage somebody, because that means that he can use any one of us, or she or they can use any one of us, whoever you believe your deity to be. So when I think about Christ-like, I think LOVE and I think truth. Truth equates to integrity. If you say it out of your mouth, then it should be so. Don't say it so if it's not so. I know that you can make your mouth say anything, but I have an expectation. I expect that people who have attended church and supposedly studied the word of God for years and years to have a sense of integrity. I don't understand how you can be in church years and years and not understand LOVE, love. And to me, it's very simple. Love looks like generosity. Love looks like sensitivity. Love looks like compassion and inclusion and common courtesy and respect. Love looks like just so many characteristics that I don't see church people exhibiting. For example, I know people who sit and drag other people's names all day, every day as their pastime, and they're in church each and every Sunday and sometimes during the week. And I get so confused because I just don't understand what a waste of their time it is for them to be in church for years and years and not get the very basics, not get what you should have learned in your very first year of church? How can you be in church that long and not understand that that is not Christ-like behavior? And I'll say this, the hypocrisy. I have seen people in church for years who seemingly want to create an image for a man, but does not really seem to care as much about what God thinks of them. And here's an example. I know a situation where somebody who was perfectly fine with sleeping with the person that they were engaged to be married to. So that's fornication. And I don't care which religion you study. It is my personal opinion that all of them kind of frowns upon fornication, sex outside of wedlock. Okay. So it's okay to fornicate, but let's not live together, because then man can see us living together and pass judgment on us. So the statement there is, I'm really more concerned about an image of looking like I'm God-like than I am really caring about what God thinks, because God can see me fornicating. God can see that I'm having sex outside of wedlock, but I don't care about that. I'm really more concerned about showing up in church and not living with you outside of wedlock, because I don't want man to pass judgment against me. Are you kidding me? Are you high or just slow? That's one of my favorites. Are you high? Are you high or just slow? I would say under those circumstances, you might be a little bit of both, because you care more about the image of man than you do about how you're showing up for your deity. Doesn't make sense. To me, that means that you apparently don't believe any of the things that you're studying and when you're going to church all these Sundays, all these years. I just don't get that. I can't make that make sense. So here's what I want to say about integrity and character. Character and integrity, let's just sum it up by saying that is what you do when no one is looking. That's what you do, and that's who you are at your core. So let's just face it. Nobody walking around on the planet looking like us has a heaven or a hell to place us in. And I often say, if you have no heaven, hell, or jail cell in which to place me, your judgment means very little to me. Now, if you got a jail cell, meaning you're a judge, you sit on a bench and you could throw my behind bars, then yeah, I care about your judgment. Other than that, you have no heaven, no hell, or jail cell in which to place me, then the hell with you and what you think and what you believe, because oftentimes those people who are passing judgment, they don't stand the test of judgment themselves. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever really paid any attention to that? So I'm going to use this in our 50 Shades of Great. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this. I am so sick and tired of being surrounded by people who say one thing out of their mouths and then do something entirely opposite. And that brings me to the point of my disdain for South Alabama. I've had the luxury, and I say the luxury because it helped me to see things a little bit more clearly in my adult life, of having to revisit the place where I grew up, South Alabama. I thought that I hated South Alabama so much because of all of the abuse, the child abuse, the sexual molestation, and all of the people who tried to make me think that I was less than beautiful because of my chocolate skin. I thought that all of those were the reasons why I despise that particular geography. And then when I had the luxury of revisiting the place all over again, it occurred to me, the reason you despise it is because it does not fit you. You know what they say, you can take the girl out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the girl, or whatever. I say that about Atlanta. Atlanta is home to me. I love what it represents in terms of Black people, and you'll hear me talk about it often. What I cannot stand is what South Alabama represents. It's not progressive, it's regressive. And that is an example, and that's shown in the recent legislation where now a woman no longer has the right to choose in Alabama. She is now back where she was years and years ago, and told that, terminating a pregnancy, regardless of the circumstances, is illegal. Sickening. But at any rate, I digress. Let me just go back to my point. I've had the luxury of seeing that place up close and personal after some maturity. And one of the things that seems to be common and commonplace and acceptable is nobody honors their word. Nobody honors their word. I know I'm generalizing, but I mean, when I say it is just ridiculous how common it is for somebody to say one thing and do something different. Everything from not being prompt and courteous and respectful of time and being late to appointments, to businesses and people who are contractors and operating in business and not honoring appointments and not doing the things that they say they will do. Lack of integrity, lack of character. It does not resonate with me. It does not fit who I am becoming. It has no place in my get down. Do you hear me? I want to be surrounded by people, places, and things that speak to my heart and who God created me to be. And that is not it. Dishonesty, lack of character, lack of moral fiber, and lack of integrity. Again, not perfection. I'm talking basics. I'm talking just the foundation of having some core character. That's what I'm talking about. And that is what I want to say today about integrity and character. We're going to add this to our 50 Shades of Great. You can't be great if you cannot honor your word. Your word should be your bond. Period. And we have got to get to a place where we are teaching our children. We've got to teach our children that your word should mean something. Character and integrity. Let's get it together, people. Let's get it together. That is all I have to say on that topic. And with that, I know I went off. I went OFF. That's how passionate I am about that. It's sickening. But at any rate, I want to just say, if anything I ever say resonates with you, if I offer you a different perspective, if I provoke any thought, then certainly I want you to rock with me. I want you to like the videos, share the videos, make a comment. I'm on a personal development journey until the day that I die. That means that I'm open to your recommendations and suggestions on how I might be a better version of myself each passing day than I was the day prior to. And with that, let me just say thanks for stopping in to listen in and hear what I have to say. And I want you to go out and have a simply amazing day. Bye.